Nancy UMEH is a sister to KORRA OBIDI, and people have said KORRA OBIDI's sister Nancy UMEH had committed a sacrilege. Now, let us establish what a sacrilege is. A sacrilege is something that is forbidden, something that should never happen, something that the gods of the land do not support, something that Christendom does not support, and also something that the Bible doesn't even support. Because there are times that things in Christendom seem to be like a forbidden thing, but when you search the Bible, it's acceptable because it's something that may have been perceived to be wrong from time immemorial. So people had different opinions about this whole thing. And what is that thing she did that everybody is talking about? Guys, she did surrogacy. Now, let us establish what surrogacy is, especially in the context of marriage. So surrogacy is when a man and a woman who are married. It can happen outside marriage, but it's really nice when it happens within the confines of marriage. So now surrogacy is this way: a woman who cannot carry a child donates, comes to see a doctor, they do the profiling with her husband and ascertain that she cannot carry. Even those who can carry but don't feel like carrying can actually do opt for surrogacy. So Nancy's eggs are being taken and then planted into somebody by legal agreement, meaning that there was a lawyer with the doctors and they sat down, they had meetings, they had an agreement, and this lady decides to go ahead to help this family carry this baby. Sometimes the doctors who are doing this thing will advise you to carry someone who has been pregnant before, not somebody who hasn't been pregnant. Because if you carry someone who has never been pregnant before, the chances are very slim that she'll be able to carry the baby. So they go through the same processes they go through during IVF to be able to get this thing done. So this is what is done. Nancy's eggs were taken, the husband's sperm was taken, and then the doctor did what he was supposed to do and then went through giving the other woman who was to carry the baby some things to take, and then they'll open her up, they'll measure her cervix and all of that, so that there's something called there's something they do to check her cervix and all that, to check the measurement of all those things, so that whenever they are trying to, they call it mock. So it's like a practical. Mock is something that is done during examination. So it's like a practical. So they call it mock because they will check all the measurements so that when they want to transfer this thing to you, it will be easier. So they will do it on a day before that time where they will not transfer it. So they did the transfer. And if you remember, there was a time, those of you who followed Nancy, she mentioned that she was pregnant. This is a pregnancy she was talking about. So a lot of people, they asked, why would Nancy be breastfeeding the baby? Immediately they brought out the baby. They cleaned up the baby and gave to Nancy to breastfeed. And people were asking, how possible is it that Nancy is breastfeeding this baby and she was not the one that carried the baby? So what they did to the mother is that she will not be able to breastfeed the baby, because when she breastfeeds the baby, she's going to pass on so many things to the baby. But Nancy, being that is the mother of the baby now, because everything, they'll definitely do DNA test. Before they even did that transfer, they tested her to be sure she's not pregnant from any other person before they did the transfer. So this child belongs to Nancy and her husband. So it is very, 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 very legal. I know that in Nigerian law, for now, those things have not been put into, I don't know how to put it, they've not been, really looked into. And as such, a lot of people, and that is why it's good for you when you are approaching anybody to be your surrogate mother, it's good for you to do it open, make it such that it will not be, do it with a lawyer, so that there will be documents and all that, So this was excellently done. My own happiness is that, anyway, let me not talk about that one, because I know that a lot of people will now begin to draw a different narrative. So Nancy did this, and a lot of people were saying, all these cryptic pregnancies, all these people that carry, I saw a comment like that, people that are cryptic pregnant, and then people who are doing surrogacy, and people who do IVF, all of them, why would they be criticizing somebody? Why would they be criticizing Elon Musk, who is trying to do a robot to carry pregnancies for people that is all the same? It's not the same. Cryptic pregnancy is different. IVF is different. IVF is that they helped to to remove your eggs, fertilized it with your husband's sperm, and put it back into your body for you to carry, and you gave birth. It was aided, yes, but you gave birth. There's nothing artificial in it. Then the surrogacy one is that another womb incubated the child, but the child is yours. It only looks strange because you're not the one that gave birth, you're not the one that pushed or carried the baby for the 9 months, but every other thing, the doctors were giving you food, everything was being done. I'm trying to make you understand that there's nothing in it. And some people are saying, oh, they can never allow that kind of a thing happen, that kind of a thing can never happen to, they will never allow it in their children. See, never say never, because sometimes the food you eat, the kind of things that may have happened to you in the past could be the reason why you are not able to conceive and have your own babies directly. There are other ways they aid people to conceive. So do not begin to talk about, insult people, say things you are not supposed to say to people because you feel that you were able to open your legs and you got pregnant. No. Make it, whenever something happens, learn from it. Do you understand? Learn from it. Instead of trying to make that thing look like it's not important, you need to learn from it. So many people have said unkind things to Nancy, and I want us to read the comment section so that you see what some people were saying good things, some were saying bad things. So a lot of people said some things. Then her father came to see the baby. The father was praising God. People were like, they like the fact that the father is always praising God in every situation. I think I heard the father was one time pastor. I can't remember, but I heard something like that. So the father was praising God. People were wondering how come this kind of thing. They are surprised that the father is even welcoming the child. That is their child. I don't know how people want us to explain this thing to them. Nancy owns that baby. The husband owns the baby, and I'm happy that they documented everything and is on social media. So when the child grows and anybody is trying to shame the child can bring up those videos as backing. You understand? And I'm happy that even when they didn't show the lady's face who carried the baby for them, but at least they were able to show their own part, and it's very transparent. And somebody said this is the first time they are seeing somebody go through surrogacy and boldly says it. Why should people be ashamed of surrogacy? I know of a woman who has done surrogacy before, and the baby looks like her so much. So the baby belongs to her and her husband. So I don't understand this surrogacy thing. A lot of people, and the annoying part, those people who are going to talk about surrogacy, against surrogacy. This person I'm telling you that I know, the child is already grown. She should be around maybe 5 years now. So if a lot of people had thought of this line of surrogacy a long time ago, they would have gone far by now. All this, they are staying for long without children, wouldn't have been there. God is the one that puts all this wisdom in people to be able to do all of these things. Medical science have so advanced that people can do things and get pregnant. So if Elon Musk is even doing a robot that should be able to carry babies, you can imagine now. And there was the first person to do to remove a child and put in an incubator to make the child stay there to grow was a Nigerian doctor. And the thing was trending about 2 or 3 years ago. It was trending. He removed the baby from the mother, took the baby out, treated the baby or whatever was wrong, and took the baby, I think, back to the mother's womb, something like that, successfully. And it was a Nigerian doctor that said, and you see, Nigerians are very intelligent. Nigerians are very smart. Nigerians are up there. And that is why most of these small countries, you see them coming for us. It's not for anything. It's out of jealousy and envy. Nothing more. Nothing more. Nothing more. Do you get? So at the end of the day, if you look at it critically, you will know that life is for the living. If you cannot carry a baby, please go and do surrogacy. It is not illegal. Iniedo had done surrogacy before, and she has a daughter to show for it. So some people even go to do it without having a husband. They buy sperm from the sperm bank and do it. So a lot of people are doing it. Some people are asking, that one, is it godly? We don't know. Maybe you check it with your pastor. But a lot of people are doing it. But for me, the one that has to do with marriage is the one I support. The one that has to do with marriage is the one I support. So please, people should calm down and leave Nancy alone with her husband. They are doing well for themselves. They have the money to take care of, even if it's 10 children. If after this baby grows and they want to have another surrogate baby, they can still do it. And it's still their baby. They'll still travel with the baby. They'll still document the baby and everything. I don't think surrogacy is in any way bad. Please, guys, I want you to look at it very well. It's not a sacrilege. It's not a sin. in the confines of marriage, it is not, because you did it in agreement between the husband and the wife.